Welcome back to Matriarch Alchemy. I am Allie.
And I'm Amanda. And today we're going to talk about mindset. So, one of the things we really like to hone in on is doing hard things anyway. So, your brain is wired to protect you, to conserve energy, and
Hmm.
to avoid discomfort.
Yeah.
So, we actually have to physically decide to do difficult, hard, new things, scary things. Getting out of our
Oh, yeah.
comfort zone, or so maybe you have to public speak. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
you're
I
going to
think,
move to a new state. I don't
oh, yeah.
know.
We all like familiar things, right? It's happy for your brain to be doing the same things over and over. But I
Yeah.
think it's good for you getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's like the best skill set that you could have.
I think that's very true. And I remember talking to someone once, they said, if you get up in the morning and you're not motivated, you're not excited about the thing that you're trying to accomplish. So it also helps to have a purpose or a sense of purpose or a goal of something you're working towards, and this helps you do that. But then one of the first things we need to do is you always have to act. So action builds your motivation. So if you're just sitting and you're thinking and thinking and thinking about the hard thing, but you don't want to do it and take the leap, you have to take some actions, even if you bring it down into like little teeny tiny silly steps. Sometimes it's just opening the thing on your computer that you need to do.
Yeah.
Getting it open. It's there, it's on your screen. Okay, I did that first thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think finding motivation anywhere is important. It's funny because I was just hearing somebody talk about like the difference of like men versus women like finding motivation, right? And guys will go pull up like YouTube 20-minute long YouTube videos and it's just dudes like lifting really hard at the gym or something like that. And they're like, I feel so strong. I just have to wake up and tell myself I'm a little, you know, negative connotation insert here. And that helps push them. And I couldn't do that. I can't watch or think of myself like that. Like I need to think of all the opposite of the positive of like, okay, like I'm amazing at this and I am doing so good. I'm so proud of myself for doing that. Like finding whatever motivates you for pushing towards those hard things
Hmm.
is going to be, I think, the most important part.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the things that really help when you're trying to make changes in your life, so of your habits, is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to change your environment. So if you're constantly triggered when you're sitting in your living room every day, maybe you need to go to a coffee shop, and even if you just take your cell phone and sit and do the work you need to do on your cell phone, or if you don't have a laptop, whatever it is, like just changing your location and sometimes changing the people you're around can help you find a greater strength, because a lot of times our environments keep us small,
Yeah.
or it's just full of those triggers that remind you of your past self, that maybe make you feel like you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough. So go to a new place, and it helps you to change your mindset more permanently, solidify.
Yeah. I found, especially like halfway through the semester, when I start to lose that motivation, where I'm like, ugh, I just don't want to do it anymore. Like I have to change where I'm at or change like whatever my surroundings are. Whether that's like I reorganize my desk into a more efficient way or I move to something else. It's whatever is going to help me be like, okay, it's clean. There's nothing for me to think about. It's different. All the last 2-3 months of compiling everything isn't still here. But
Hmm.
even it's like a mental reset in my mind. Like, okay, now it's time to
Yeah.
sit down and get into what I need to, right?
Yeah. I was just waiting to see if you're done.
She looks at me and I look at him and he looks at me and I look at him.
Okay, stop.
That's all it
Okay. So then one of the other mindset things is reframing failures. So if it doesn't work out the first time you try something new, or whatever the hard thing is, maybe you're not great at it, you know, you have to realize that it's not the world attacking you if you're learning a new craft. So things happen, and things are happening for you that will often open doors that you don't even see are there, right? So you can't have the mindset of that things keep happening to you. Like
Yeah.
there's it's not negative because this thing happened, it just happened. And maybe
Well,
it's
yeah.
happening for you.
When I think of constantly being in that mindset of like, oh, all these things just keep happening to me, whether it's, all bad things, it's
Mhm.
like that victim mindset you're stuck in. And you have to kind
Yeah.
of find a way to rewire the way that your brain thinks about those things. Um,
Mhm.
like, let's say you keep applying to jobs, you're doing interviews, and you're not getting anything back. It's like, oh, I keep getting rejected. Oh, I'm not good enough. It's like, oh, well, maybe this is because I'm not supposed to be there. And now, whatever my next steps are going to be even better. Like, it's reframing the way you're thinking about that, I think,
Mhm.
is you got to go from like victim to an empowerment of like, okay, what are these quote unquote negatives leading me towards this positive? Right?
Yeah, and I could sometimes just have to think of it as redirection,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you're not aiming high enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, who
That could
knows?
be the issue too.
Maybe you need to aim higher. Maybe you're supposed to be somewhere better than where you
Yeah.
originally thought. Don't think so small. Those people are way more capable of things than they believe in themselves, and
It's,
it's really frustrating to watch people put themselves in a prison, and they have the keys, but they won't come out. And I feel like I see that a lot.
yeah, I also think like it's a big thing of like that feeling of imposter syndrome, right? Where,
Hmm.
you're like, oh, I'm not qualified, or oh, I don't have enough of this to do that. It's a
Yeah.
whatever, but
Hmm.
somehow you got to that point, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm not qualified for where I'm at, but it's like you got there. We need to stop like pushing ourselves down and making ourselves less than in our own heads because we are way
Yeah.
more capable than we even know that we are. And you just have to like find that, okay, like I am where I'm supposed to be. If not, I can work harder.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of young people, I think, just have that opportunity paralysis. Like, there's too many options, and they really don't know where to go.
I feel that
Where's
all
that
the
gonna
time.
lead? And then it's just hard because you're like, well, this sounds fun and that sounds fun, but can I make money doing this, or am I gonna be happy with this lifestyle? And you have to like balance everything. So that can be
No,
hard to do
I
all of
definitely feel
that
like
with
I
that
get stuck
mindset.
in that opportunity paralysis where, yeah, okay, I'm going to graduate college. Now I'm like, okay, what's next? It's like, that's a great question. There are
Oh
so many things out there. I have
no.
no idea. I just keep following like whatever opportunities are presented in my way. I'm going to keep pushing towards them and whatever sticks,
Hmm.
sticks. But it's hard to like narrow myself down. And I think the best advice that I ever got was like, um, the best thing is going to come to me, right? And it's going to come when it's supposed to. I need to stop being worried about, oh, well, I don't have this, I don't have that. It's okay, it's coming. Keep working towards that direction.
I would
Um,
say what's for you is for you. You can't miss it,
yeah,
and that also means, but you got to put the foot out. You got to start taking the steps forward towards it, even if you believe in like the universe providing you opportunity or showing up for
yeah,
you or giving you what you deserve. You still have to walk in that direction.
right.
You
And
can't
it's
sit on your couch under a
and expect
blanket
everything
with
to
your
happen
remote
without
and then
working.
expect, yeah, a whole new miraculous life. Well, start thinking, what do I in that future life look like? How would
What
my
am I
day look?
doing? Yeah.
So what would I do every day? Would I get up and I would put on a cute outfit and I'd look pulled together, I look tailored, I look fresh, I look intelligent. I'm
Am I
going to
getting up
walk
at
out and
6 a.m. to go
do,
to the gym? Or like, I feel like it's definitely starting to live the life that you expect yourself to be living
yeah,
of who you want to be, right?
Right. You're going to go out and do those things. So what would your future you do, in
Yeah.
your routine? You want to be more fit? Well, future you is going to the gym every day, or they're getting into different sports and clubs to keep them more active. Maybe future you is going to have a new job. Maybe you need to start reading more books and listening more educational media instead of doom scrolling funny memes or whatever
Yeah.
it is that you focus on, like something that's actually going to give you a tool, right? You're start filling your tool belt with the things that future you needs. So
Yeah.
if you're going to be a writer one day, you better start writing, and you also start reading and read.
Well, yeah. It's like you're not going to jump into a pool without knowing how to swim first, right? So you're going to learn the baby
I don't
steps,
know.
but you still
Some
have
people
to.
do it that
I mean,
way.
that is true. Uh, I find a lot of things I enjoy just jumping in the deep end and hoping for the best. And usually it works out, but not everything can have that. And you do have to still have like, how are you going to work up towards jumping off the 15-meter dive, right? So it's like finding those things.
That's scary.
No, and I do think people, and I've definitely done it before, is like you get into that constant loop in your own head of like overthinking, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? And it just becomes this boundary that's like procrastinating all of the things that you should be doing. And it's like
Mm.
I would rather procrastinate as a way to regulate how I'm feeling in this moment than jump into it. And so I think that something is you have to find whatever is going to
Yeah,
motivate you for that
I
start.
think that reminds me of we were talking about facts versus feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So your emotions about something and how you feel about it, it's not the same as what's actually happening. So if you can
Yeah.
have more self-awareness of differentiating that, number one, will help you get through doing hard things. But the other thing is, you have to say, can I be aware of what happens to me and how I label things when they start happening, right?
Yeah.
So, oh, I'm getting so anxious. Oh, I'm having this. Like you want to work on your self-awareness. You just set a boundary that you're not being attacked by a mountain lion. So you don't have to be freaking out and your heart is racing and you're like, oh, I can't believe it. So what do you think's going to happen? Are you upset because you think someone's going to be mad at you? Let
Well,
them.
yeah. I think
Let
it's
them be
kind
mad
of
at
like
you.
breaking down a lot of those in between the facts, feelings, and emotions. So, like, you know, whatever actually happened, let's say someone didn't text you back, you're feeling rejected, and maybe the emotion you're feeling is like anxiety with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it's like you come up with your own narrative of like, oh, they just don't care about me, they don't want to, whatever. But in reality, the fact is that we don't know what they're feeling. So it's like, how can I disconnect? Okay, I know what I'm feeling, I'm acknowledging it. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And so, moving on from that without panicking yourself over something. It's like, how often are we reacting to things that are all just our own emotions and feelings rather than what actually is true, right?
Yeah. And I find like really healthy, healed people are really good about assuming the best. Oh, she hasn't called me back. She's probably busy.
Yeah,
And it's not like, oh my God, they must have seen that one comment I made on that one Facebook post and now they're mad at me. What? Like you create a scenario in your mind that you don't need to create it. Like
yeah,
assume the best. If they have a problem with you, it is honestly their responsibility to tell you they have a problem with you.
exactly.
So if that were the case of what you're bringing up, like
They didn't
if
text
you're
you
being
back.
anxious about someone else, assume everybody's happy, assume everybody likes you. There's no problems, there's no beef unless they come to you and say, "Hey, that really ticked me off when you said that to so and so."
But yeah, and
What the
I
heck? Can we talk about it?
definitely think that goes into like relationships and like the early stages of dating. There is so much anxiety, I feel like, from I mean, from what I've seen, at least on the woman's side. And like
Mhm.
men aren't thinking most of those things. They're like, oh, she didn't text me back. Oh, she's probably just busy. They're not sitting there pondering, oh my God, I wonder if she likes me. I wonder if she's ever going to text me back. They don't have those thoughts. So why are we continuously running ourselves in these emotional loops and not just going, oh, well, like that's where it is. Here are the facts. They just didn't reply to me, or, you know,
Well,
whatever.
it's a
It's like,
little bit of a sign of codependence when you're
yeah,
constantly worried about what someone else is doing every second or how they're feeling. And then you have to act a certain way to make sure they're happy or you're regulating their emotions. And you don't ever want to get into doing that. It's not your responsibility to make sure like they need to just communicate and tell you, "Hey, I'm
yeah.
feeling this."
And I mean, I
If
do
I'm a
think it
grown
is
up, I
important
will
to be
tell
a
you.
good, yeah, I think it's good to be a good communicator, especially like myself. If I have a problem with somebody, I'm not going to sit there and think, oh, well, they should just know what they did wrong. It's, oh, well, they don't know unless I tell them, right?
Mhm.
So being a good communicator of, hey, what you said hurt me, or when you didn't do this, this is kind of how I felt, and I just want to lay it out there. This is what I expect. Whether it's
Yeah.
relationships, friendships, I do think being a good communicator is important.
Excuse me.
Um, but it's also like you have to be in that mindset of like, okay, well, my time and energy is important, and I'm going to spend it on more important things rather than worrying about, texting me back.
Well, yeah. I mean, you just need to actually worry about yourself more. Take care of yourself
Worry about
in
Joseph.
those scenarios. But I mean, it's also just getting off your bum and going and doing hard things by removing those blocks. You have to
Yep.
make like exercises to remove the block that is stopping you from taking the first step. Sometimes you just have to start doing it. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you don't want to. A lot of times you just get up and start moving around, you're going to feel 10 times better than you just were laying on the couch all exhausted by moving around. The moving around gives you the energy, it changes. Go drink some water.
Yeah, but I feel like it just becomes more exhausting worrying about all the things rather than doing it. And I'm not saying like physically exhausting, it's emotionally draining sitting and constantly worrying about everything that
Hmm.
someone else is doing, other people's
Oh, man.
actions, how I can people please everybody else. Oh, I need to get all these hard things done. So now you've emotionally exhausted yourself so much that you don't even have the energy to go do the things that you actually need to do. Just mentally exhausted.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that too of why are you so mentally exhausted? So, one of the things that we need to do for ourselves, if you're feeling that all the time, is setting energetic boundaries. So, that means you're going to say no to an invitation that you really don't have the energy to, or being with people that just you're not in the mood for, just creating a space and surrounding yourself with people that are helping you towards your future self. So if you have
Yeah,
people that are constantly, say, pulling you down, pulling you back into your old habits, maybe they're also really lazy. Maybe they have a poor mindset and they're stuck and they're constantly stuck. And misery loves company. They're going to want you there with them, right?
yeah.
So you may have to withdraw a little bit sometimes from people that not they don't care about them, but if they're preventing you from changing your mindset and moving forward towards
That is great ideas. Like definitely being able to say no to people, and you don't have to over explain yourself to make other people comfortable. Protect your own energy of like, where you're setting your boundaries on what you're not willing to let yourself or other people get into your head of what you need to worry about and what you're supposed to be doing. Do you feel like you have set any boundaries recently that might have made you personally uncomfortable?
your I would say as time has gone on, I'm way more comfortable setting boundaries now that I'm starting to do it.
Hmm.
And the more that I do it, I just don't care anymore because it protects my peace and I'm happy and you get better and better at it by doing it, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is I find the hardest place for me to say set a boundary is in relationships.
Mm.
And it's usually only if I really care about the person that I'm with. So then I would be like, I don't want to lose this person by setting my boundary and putting my foot down or saying, hey, I don't want this life for me. If XYZ were to continue, right? Like that would feel the most stressful or anxious for me if I thought, oh, well, wow, what if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
I would say that that's the only thing I can think of that might make me uncomfortable. Were you thinking of anything in specific?
No, I was just genuinely
Mm.
asking. I think it's good
No,
to like talk about because we're talking about all these big broad things, and I was trying to think of examples. Um, I I guess like my best thing has been the last few years. I'm getting better at setting boundaries with like people who I feel like use my energy for their own
mm-hmm.
like gain, whether that's friendships or well, I guess really just friendships of people who I feel like just use me for when they need me. And so I'm trying to get
Yeah.
better about setting boundaries of being like, okay, well, you know, I'm not doing this if you're just using it for X, Y. If you're using me for X, Y, and Z, um, also stop putting so much energy into help it making sure everyone else feels happy. Like
Mm-hmm.
always being the one to reach out, always being the one to make plans. Like I kind of really stepped back from that, and I feel like that actually made me feel a little bit more relaxed of being like, okay, if someone really wants to spend their energy on me, like they're also I want them to also try. It's not that I'm completely blowing people off, but I'm not going to do it as often. Might check in, but I'm not like, okay, when's our next blah 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 over and over.
I think of myself as a retired people pleaser.
Yeah.
I have, I'm a completely different person, I would say, in that regards from even 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because my mindset was always keeping everybody happy, keeping the peace, keeping all the balls in the air, and completely self-sacrificing myself if I thought
Yeah.
people were rude or dismissive or whatever. Like I just
Yeah.
wasn't putting my foot down about it. Like, and I don't know why. I just think I had this mindset growing up. When you don't feel like you're receiving love and affection the way that you deserve when you're a young person, you tend to start bringing those wounds into adulthood and you start constantly pandering to all these people, still trying to get the same love back.
Yeah. I feel like I've gotten way better at even setting boundaries with people that I feel like who are um, emotionally draining to me in general, where I just feel like they have problems all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so, or they're draining me because they always have things that just like, I think removing people who also can't kind of get to the same standards that you have in the relationship, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. Um, let's say I have the standard of if you have a problem with me, you come talk to me. If you can't do that, I'm not really going to sit here and continue to foster this relationship in any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, an important thing. And that's something that I've been getting better at is setting those boundaries with people who don't um, talk to me about their own problems, or if they're more of a negative person in my life that is causing me more emotional turmoil based off of what they say or what they're doing that's frustrating. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
learned that I even just have to set myself back. Not that I'm telling them directly, but it's like I need to sit back and go do my own thing because whatever is happening here is emotionally draining every time I see you.
Yeah,
So,
and sometimes it starts to be like, wow, again? Like you're
really?
antagonizing everyone again?
Yeah.
You're drinking that much again? Like,
Yeah.
things start to happen and you start to just see it, you have an awareness to it. And it's often like later in life you find that you just have a new awareness. Something happens or something changes. But when you start to improve yourself, you're going to notice the people that refuse to improve, want to stay stagnant, or are stuck. And it's when you're really young too, for say teenagers or middle schoolers. Who you surround yourself with is really going to affect your future.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I
would
mean,
preach that a lot to kids. Like, be careful who your friends are.
yeah, I do think it's like the joke where you become the people that you're with all the time, where,
Yeah.
you spend the time with your partner all the time. It's like you start saying the same things or doing the same like mannerisms, or you do that with your
Hmm.
friends.
Picking up each other's
Now,
habits.
it might be those tiny little things that make you laugh when you notice them, but it also can be those bigger things of like, oh, they really are the biggest procrastinator and I am starting to procrastinate way more.
Mm.
Or they're actually kind of mean to all these people and now I'm starting to be mean to all these people. I don't know, that's not where I like hold myself. So it's like those things you might not recognize, but it still has an influence.
Hmm.
You are what you surround yourself with, right? And your environment. And
Yeah.
so I think the most important part is like having the mindset of constantly growing, and you will never be perfect. That is just how it is, but like the mindset of, even when you are thinking like right now, I'm like, oh, I'm in this great mindset, but I can always be better. I can always grow. I can learn to do more. And I think that is
Hmm.
an important mindset to have too, is you're not going to one day wake up and just be perfect. I'm going to continue and do more.
Realize like the friends and the people you hang out with, it's something that you really actually do need to pay attention to and choose, like not an accident. It's
I think you need to be mindful about the people that you keep in your circles,
yeah, like
especially your
not
closer
spending time
circles.
with people that gossip, not spending time with people that maybe have another unhealthy habit that you're trying to break, or if you really truly are like, I know a lot of you young 20 somethings are, you probably toe the line a lot with kids that are really working towards their career and wanting to be better and like be successful. And then there's kids that are just really still trying to have fun and enjoy their youth, right? So, I mean, there's going to be a balance of people that are keeping you on track for your own goals.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, or I don't think we're saying that you need to stop talking to all of your friends who are not in the same, you know, point of view.
No,
I mean,
no.
I definitely have friends that I feel like I'm not probably a good influence on pushing them towards being more. And not like in a bad way, like I want them to succeed because I love them. And, sometimes that becomes yet
Yeah.
another struggle though, where I feel like I'm constantly trying to help them when they're not ready for
Hmm.
more growth. So that's where I
Yeah.
have to kind of find the perfect seesaw of like how much is too much and how much is too little of being in their life to help be that good influence into pushing them where I feel like they can be better.
Well, then let's talk about the mindset when it comes to money.
Hmm.
And I have had some things on my mind lately about like people who have the lack mindset
Hmm.
from certain experiences with some people in my life that they always have the mindset of, oh, well, I grew up poor, so I don't throw things away. I like to save things. I like to reuse things, right? Or I never had enough money. And
Hmm.
oh, or just people that say, I'm poor. Oh, I'm poor. I don't think you should ever speak that way about yourself, even if you are. But you got to reframe that. You have to have an abundant mindset. So it's things like, well, I'm working towards it and it's coming. It won't always be like this.
Yeah.
And I don't need to save things that no longer serve me that are blocking up energetic space for these good things to come in.
Right.
But I don't ever talk about myself like I'm poor, even when I don't have any income.
Hey, and I do think it is having that mindset of like everything works out for you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not trying to say this to be like witchy woo woo or whatever, but like I do think it even adds to like how you view yourself and
Mm-hmm.
how it influences your own actions later on. So like if you're constantly worried about like, oh, I don't have enough money, I never have this, I never have that, I feel like you
Mm-hmm.
put yourself in that own mindset of like you're not going to work as hard as you would have because oh well I'm already there, like I'm not going to get anywhere else. It's instead of you turn it into oh everything just works out. I always have enough money. I'm never worried about it. I don't have to think about it. You might even get into the like oh yeah I don't actually ever worry about it because I've already have told my brain that that's not something I need to panic about some way, shape, or form. I mean, there are so many more studies coming about how strong your mind is and how many things that we
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that we could do. I mean,
Yeah.
take the CIA files of astral projecting, like that's a real thing. Like there's so much more our brains can do that we just haven't like recognized and even just starting that mindset of like, okay, well this is who I am
Well,
rather
it's like
than
believing manifestations, right? So I've never wanted for anything in my life. I work really hard and I've had a lot of changes and I've been on a lot of roller coasters, but I always keep the mindset that I'm abundant and the universe wants to give it to me. Like that's
mm-hmm,
kind of how I think about it for myself. I don't sit around going, "Oh my gosh, I'm poor. Oh my gosh, I didn't make any money last month." I mean, maybe those are facts, but you can't ruminate on that
yeah.
mindset about yourself. You can't identify as a poor person. Do you know what I mean? You can identify as somebody who's going, I always, I always win. I'm always growing. I'm always finding a way. And that you
Yeah.
have to keep that mindset for yourself.
And I think that's healthy too, especially like when everything's going great and one thing bad happens, you already have that mindset. So it's like you're not going to go back into those, oh, well, everything else is so horrible. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, whatever. Like, I always figure a way out or I always figure things out. And I do think that's important just for like even your own mental health.
Yeah. I mean, it's a healthier place to be. It's happier.
Yeah,
How happy are people that are like just stewing over their bills nonstop? Well, I'm not saying that just saying, "Oh, I'm abundant," will change all your life, but
no,
it might
you
change
still have
your
to work towards
actions.
it.
It might change your actions, and I do feel like money is still like with money flow is energetic. So keeping that everything moving and being positive is why money flows in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know
I
either.
do feel like manifestations are very real. I've always felt like I was a powerful manifester. When I write down my goals, I write down what I want to do. I know some things I say, oh, well, it's up to the universe to give this to me. But then other things I'm going to work towards. And I'm going to say, how am I going to make this happen?
I also
And you
feel
just have
like
to start taking the steps.
when you paint or you write out those goals, whether you do physically or just in your own head, like you have those goals towards work towards, I do
Hmm.
think subconsciously, like you are looking for all the ways to get to that.
Hmm.
And so, when you are like, oh, well, you know, my goal is to do X, Y, and Z, your brain's like, okay, well, I found three different routes that we can get there subconsciously, and you're working towards those goals.
Hmm.
So I do think it is beneficial, whether it's a real thing or not, quote unquote, manifesting. But I do think having those mindsets, even just for yourself, to like constantly be working towards a bigger picture is way
Hmm.
more important than focusing on the little minute things that are day to day that don't matter.
Well, I think that wraps right back to the first thing we were saying about doing hard things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that attitude that you can manifest all of that is going to help you push you to take those steps and do those things.
Yeah. And it's like we were talking about with setting those boundaries though with people is like, you know, constantly growing and working towards those goals is going to feel like you're losing out of aspects of your life, whether that's friends, family, relationships, um, social outings, whatever it may be. But you're going to be gaining so much more in the future by doing this hard thing that it is going to feel funky for a little bit, but it always works out.
Yeah, and I think to tie to what you're saying is like, say, if you're young and you feel like you're struggling financially, maybe you only agree to go out one night a month. And maybe it's temporary. Maybe you are essentially losing out, but people spend so much money when they go out to
So
drink.
expensive nowadays. Can't
Like,
go out with
or
just one
have
person or two for
find
more than a
something to
month.
do that's not going to an expensive bar, or there's things you guys can get together and do if you want friend time that's not going to cost you money.
Yeah. Excuse me.
But you make that choice to short term give up some of your comforts
Yeah.
so that you can grow towards being in a better place.
You might just have to be a hermit for a little bit, and that might be part of the growth though, is
Well, and
being
and it's sometimes
alone or
it's
quiet.
yeah. I mean, if you're really, oh, I'm in debt and I have all these problems, and if you think you have absolutely no opportunity to make any other money, then you're going to have to start saying no more to yourself. I was a loan closer for a while, and I've seen everybody's loan paperwork. I've seen their closing statements, and I see what people struggle with. I see their income, and I see their debt, and I see their credit cards they're paying off. And people are not saying no to themselves. So I'm like, I don't know if
That
this
or they
much
have a
should be
hard
on your
problem
Nordstrom
saying no to
card.
other
If
people.
you're like, what people were willing to buy with their income is shocking to me. Trying to look like maybe they have money. Like
I mean, it's
can we
funny because
just
it
talk
goes
about
back.
like designer labels? I see people's credit card debts and things like that, and they're trying to live a lifestyle pretending and posturing that they're successful. And like, it's such a big thing, what now, to have a certain type of designer purse. This designer purse, some of them are so expensive that most people cannot justify owning them. They think it's so cool. And they're walking around with a $2,000 purse. And if you only make, I don't know, $4,000 a month, you cannot afford a $2,000 purse. And it's ridiculous that you're walking around in a tracksuit with logos all over it, or the logo belt from a very expensive designer store, right? The purse everybody keeps talking about now online is $40,000 to $100,000. These are for billionaires. And I know women that really, really want one, and I know a couple women that have one. And I'm like, you took out essentially a car loan to get a purse that you can't afford. Like, why would you think you need that? Like, sometimes you have to say no to yourself if you want to actually change your financial picture. And you can't buy into this designer thing that's not real.
I think the status that people need to feel like they're doing it or to look a certain way, I think is why people do it.
So do
I
you think people think if they look successful, they'll become successful? Or do you think it just makes them feel better about themselves?
I think it's more of a status thing rather than the, oh well, if I look successful I'll be successful. Because I mean, most people who are super successful don't always buy a lot of these designer things. They don't spend a lot of money. I mean, a lot of successful people wear the same color shirt every single day and the same pants, because why would I spend my money on stupid things?
Yeah.
And
That's very
I
true.
people who have a lot of money are smart with their money, right? They think if they're not going to make an investment somewhere, or if they're like, oh, this is just a t-shirt that's going to fall apart in a few years, because that's what happens,
Hmm.
why am I wasting my money on a $200 t-shirt? Or they're driving a
Yeah.
Honda Civic that they've been driving since 2012. Like,
Yeah.
it's, if it gets you from point A to point B, that's the most important part. I don't need to be go driving a Lamborghini every single day to make me what. Is it because you just need that class symbol out there for other people to know, like, oh, they're successful? It's not because, oh, I just want a Lambo. It's, I need other people to see that I have money.
Hmm.
So I feel like that looks more of like, you know, it is like,
Yeah, I think people do just want to look like they've made it or they're successful. Look what I can afford.
yeah.
I mean, it might make them feel better about some things. And I mean, if it helps your mindset and you can actually afford something, and a lot of people are now great, they're buying resale. You can buy one of those used and save a lot of money. That's what you really want to own. And some of these things are valuable if you save them and take care of them. They can have some
I mean,
resale value.
some of those designer purses do have like great like I don't know, don't they like, I can't even
Appreciate.
think, appreciate instead of depreciate in value.
Yeah.
Um, but I still
Some.
think it's a funky. I don't know. I think it's weird being so materialistic on the things that you need to like look a certain way.
Well, and that is something I think really started happening since social media. But it really started happening in the last 10 years where I've noticed, like, oh my gosh, I need to have this kind of purse. Right. Now I'm like, I don't really care anymore. I used to actually want that. And I would say I have some expensive designer purses that I didn't buy any of them. They were gifts, you know? And I would say I like the idea that I can resell for some money. But now when I look for purses, I'm truly looking for well made leather goods from around the
Quality.
world that are like really nice, but they don't have any big silly logos on them. Like I don't want to be
Yeah.
part of that culture. It's like
You
I
also
almost want to
want them to
be
like last.
higher.
I don't know. I think
Yeah,
of it
I
more
want
as like a
quality.
practical thing, right? If I want to buy a
Hmm.
purse and I'm going to use it for X, Y, and Z, I want it to last. I don't want to buy a purse that's just going to fall apart, or I'm scared that if something happened to it, like, oh, somebody spilled a drink at lunch and now my purse is ruined. Like, oh my gosh, I just, my 30K purse.
If you're gonna freak out when that happens, you don't.
Yeah.
Again, you can't afford it, right? That actually happened to me, which I thought was like this karma. So I bought my very first Louis Vuitton bag, which you have. I gave it to you. It's that
Oh,
bucket.
yeah. Yeah.
This is really funny. So I was like in my early 20s and I went to lunch with my mother and she spilled an iced tea into my purse. And I was like, of all times, like this would never happen.
Yeah. How often does that happen?
Now, and I was like, good thing they're just canvas. You can wipe it right off. But
Right.
I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, it just sort of made me think about it again. Like, how do you feel about this nonsense, right?
Yeah, because if it was any other
Like,
purse that you could go buy somewhere else, or it was only $5, if you throw
mm-hmm,
pens in there and you're not worried about pens, leaving a little stain mark somewhere, you're like, whatever, it's a purse, like it gets me there. But then if you're worried about all these little things that could happen to something so designer, it's like, oh, I just feel
yeah.
like, one, I think designer stuff is stupid to begin with, but that's another topic for another day.
Now, hey, there's some that I think are really pretty, and I really like how they look. Like, there's some things out there that they're attractive, but I have to think, would I actually pay that much for this item?
No, I agree. I think it's weird how like a lot of the high
It's the
fashion stuff.
I'm talking about like the flashy logo stuff. It's
Yeah,
there's some designer things that are really beautiful, but they're not really that much more high quality than
yeah,
some other things. But they don't have any. It's not about the logos. You just want to own it. It feels good. The fabrics. wonderful, but that's different than like the person walking around in a head to toe sweatsuit that's covered in little G's. Like I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
definitely think a
picture
lot of that
certain
is
people
just a
wearing that.
status symbol. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because like maybe this is just what I've experienced is now when I see people who do stuff like that, who wear the tracksuits, who are wearing head to toe designer brands, it's like I caught you. Like that's how I feel where I'm like, "Oh, okay, like you don't make enough money to afford any of that." Because people who do make enough money don't do that. Especially you don't want to flaunt your wealth out there, one to make other people feel bad or two to make yourself feel better. Like if you have the money, you don't need
You're quieter
to,
about it.
you're very
I
quiet.
do
You're
see
like,
like they want like a nice car,
yeah,
but they're not taking pictures of it and putting it on their Facebook. They're just
no.
enjoying it and driving it around. They might enjoy putting it in the valet at a restaurant, but
No, I don't think it's people who have nice things, who do have money to afford it, they don't need to go out there and flaunt it. It's like, what are you trying to prove? You've already proved it to yourself. And I think that's like where a lot of that mindset comes from though is like I'm content with myself. I don't need anything else. I don't need external validation.
mm-hmm.
And
So tell me this. I hate to use them as an example. Kim Kardashian, she's loves showing her designer bags and her stuff and her plastic surgery and all of her things. So she's flaunty, flaunty, flaunt, right?
yeah,
So, in her cars, why do you think, with at her level of success, is it just because they're selling their lifestyle is like their thing of why she still feels like she needs to do all that?
I think it's like their job to sell themselves, but
Mm-hmm.
sells things, right? So she has a business that is built off of her selling herself. You think of any social media influencer whatsoever, their business is them.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of have to live up with whatever thing that they're selling. And their main product for a lot of social media content creators, whatever, is themselves. And so I do think they have to kind of put
Hmm.
out this image, right? We all know that like a lot of those lifestyles were like, okay, that was ridiculous, or
I always think of it, it
whatever.
goes from like lifestyle blogger to lifestyle prostitute. Because now, what are you selling?
Then
I'm
you just get
like,
confused and you're like, what was this? What was the point of this? But I also think it's like the lifestyle that they've kind of been forced into by selling themselves in a way.
mm,
And I think the Kardashians are like a great view of that. Of all it is selling themselves.
yeah,
They
their entire show.
You joke about like how Kim got famous. I mean, it is just a selling of yourself, and they've had to continue up this charade. They definitely,
Mm,
or they probably don't act like that when they're alone with just their like close friends and family. But now you're on a camera and you're supposed to be a little chaotic to sell views, to sell yourself, to sell your brand. I think
yeah.
that's where that is personally. And that's not something that I like personally like to subscribe to is watching other people do that. But that's only just me.
No, I don't follow any of them. I just happen every once in a while to see something. So like I saw a guy make a video the other day and he was talking about a purse made out of elephant skin. And I actually ended up watching it because I was interested in what are we doing with elephants? And they have in some parts of the world, they have a sustainable way of using elephant hide, or not so much now as they used to, like say in the 80s or earlier. And it was like if an elephant died, and I'm talking about poachers, just more they would use the product. And so like Hermes made a purse, and I don't know how much it cost at the time, but this guy, he was like, I used to own this purse, here's how much I sold it for, here's the photos of it. And he's like, Kim got a was probably told by a publicist online not to say that her elephant bag was real because people were getting upset that she had an elephant bag. Well, he showed all the photos and zoomed in on hers. It's the exact same bag. I mean, the markings of the elephant skin. Uh-oh. Your camera went out. The markings of it were exactly the same. But it's an investment piece because they don't use elephant anymore. And so she has like a library of these bags that she's using as like an investment, right? And I'm like, that's fascinating. That I don't know that that would ever have occurred to me to like
I think it's
buy
strange,
that or
but
own that or so I mean, the
well,
main thing, the point of bringing this up was just to say, you don't need designer things to feel good about yourself or to feel successful. It's truly your mindset.
yeah. Also, things are not going to fill the voids in your heart. I think that's also something that people do is they buy things to fill voids.
Hmm.
Um, oh,
Well, or
like
just buying it thinking it's going to give you something. I have a lot of designer things that I've had over the years, and your dad would buy for me, or I had the extra money. It really didn't give me any fulfillment. I
it's
have a
like, okay,
couple things that
now
I
what?
really like, but for the most part, just being able to obtain those things didn't give me any fulfillment. It didn't really give me any joy. You
Right.
know, it's like there's other things that made me feel way better.
And
Being
I
in my happy, peaceful house now. And, there's other ways in my life that feels really good. How
and
you spend
I
your
think that
time.
is the way you have to like go about it is filling those voids for yourself emotionally
Hmm.
rather than trying to with things or other people filling your own voids. That sounds gross. That
Oh.
sounded dirty. But like sorry.
Filling your
Filling
black
the
soul.
void that you have with oh, that sounds gross too. How do I say this?
The emptiness.
Oh,
No.
I think
Okay,
finding
if
those
you
things
feel,
that you need
yeah, I'd say one, being proud
materialistic
of
people.
yourself, being proud of how you conduct yourself, being proud of what you've accomplished. So being able to take care of yourself or build up for any job or career where you can stand on your own 2 feet, right?
Yeah.
That it just brings you so much more fulfillment. And I know girls were like, "Ooh, I just really, really want to own this one pair of red bottom shoes," and it's like that's fun, that's fine. Just make sure you can actually afford it when you buy it,
Or you can actually wear them anywhere.
and you can walk anywhere
Reasonably
because you won't
anywhere.
be able to.
That's another thing.
Good luck.
These are bedroom shoes. They're not meant for walking. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think people who want to dress nice is great. I love it. I can't stand people who like to point out that you're overdressed when you dress nice. When you talk about how I don't can't. I think that's so rude. I think it's
Yeah.
them trying to bring you down. I used to get that a lot. Oh, why are you so dressed up?
Well, all throughout like
Am I?
my
Or you just look like you're gonna, clean your basement?
I like to get ready for the day and I feel like especially getting dressed for even just going and meeting friends, like I like feeling put together because it just makes me feel good. But
Mm-hmm.
I found that I was like I get made fun of my last few years of high school and in like college where I'm showing up to class in just jeans and a nice t-shirt or I'd wear a dress to school. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple people say like I looked like a soccer mom. And I was like, is that supposed to be like mean? And they were like, no, I just think
I
it's
look
funny
pulled
that you're like
together.
looking like this at school. Like one like I have work after this,
I'm out
so
in
I just
public.
whatever. But yet again, I'm going to college classes and people it's also like a respect thing. I'm showing up to college to put in work, to learn from my professors. They're getting dressed to come here. Why am I not? I can't tell you how annoying it is when I show up to classes and people are just wearing full on sweatpants, sweatshirts all day. I get
Mm-hmm.
it. Some days it's cold and I want to wear a sweatshirt, but like I at least try to put myself together in some way, shape, or form.
I
Like
know. I like to look
I like
stylish
feeling like
still.
that.
I don't
Yeah.
dress like a bum. I don't know. That I've always been that way. And I've probably been that way since high school. I like my outfits. I like being put together, and you never know what's going to happen in your day, and it just feels good to look good and feel confident.
I always
I don't
think of
know
when
if I
you
guess if you really want to change your mindset, get out of your freaking
sweats.
screen printed t-shirts and your pajama bottoms
I always,
and get dressed and don't wear a bonnet to the grocery store or to the airport. Pete's sake.
oh my gosh, yeah,
It's
the
not
whole
like that
airport
hard to
thing.
go on an airplane. I mean, people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's not a fashion show." I'm like, I can dress really comfortably, but look
Yeah.
dressed and walk into the airport lounge and not look like an idiot. I mean, it's
I always,
comfortable. I'm not dressed uncomfortably. I'm not walking around in my stilettos and a tiny dress and I can't sit down on the
right.
seat. I mean,
It's appropriate.
but I'm
But
not
I
wearing
always,
pajamas.
it always makes me think back when I was a kid. Like, I remember one time you saying to me, like, I just like to get ready for the day because I always imagine that I'm going to see my worst enemy. And how do I want them to see me if I did?
Or your ex, and then you're like,
Or whatever it is. And like, I don't think you should be living your life as like, oh, well, how can I look better to everybody else? But I do think that mindset of like, you know, who could I meet today? Whether it's like, what if I meet a future business partner or future employer out on the blue? How would you want to be presenting yourself? Um, I could meet someone who's like, I have a wonderful job opportunity for you, or I don't know. I just who you're meeting or whoever it is out in public, you just never know. And I also think like pulling yourself together gives yourself such a better mindset of like self confidence. And you
mm-hmm.
look good, feel good kind of vibe, right? You're going to
Yeah.
probably act
And it
more
really
confident.
works. It really does. But I'm not like fully judging or saying,
No.
you can't go to your sweats to Target. But like in general, if you pull yourself together, you're going to feel great. If I'm going to a dinner and I want to wear a super fancy dress, I'm going to wear a super fancy dress. I don't care if
Yeah.
everyone else showed up in jeans and a turtleneck. And then it's up to you if you didn't look good enough. Again, I think I look great.
Well, yeah.
I'm not
I don't
overdressed. Maybe
I'm
you're
not saying
underdressed.
there are days that I haven't just worn sweats to Target for 5 minutes. But
Yeah, everybody has,
like
especially if you're sick.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying like the days where you do have time to like putting
Mm.
jeans on might be that thing for your brain to be like, "Oh, we're getting stuff done today."
Yeah, I would say we, work from home here. My boyfriend gets up, goes to the gym, showers, and gets dressed, even though he's gonna go sit in the home office on the computer. And he's like, it
Mhm.
just gets me in the mindset. I work really hard. I ever occasionally he has to be on camera like this.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a nice shirt on.
Well, I also think of it like how you get dressed is going to change your mindset. So if I get up and I'm like, I'm going to try to go to the gym this in the early in the morning. If I sit in my pajamas for the first hour, I don't really feel like I'm going to go to the gym anytime soon. But I've found that if the moment I get up, I put my workout clothes on, then I start doing whatever I need to do. I'm already feeling like, all right, I'm in the mindset. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to get this done. And I think it just goes
Yeah,
across the whole board of like how you are dressing yourself affects your mindset, affects the rest of your day on whatever you had planned.
yeah. And if you're
So,
not a morning person, lay your clothes out the night before and don't even think about it. Just put it on when you get up. Like, oh, it's cold. I better put this on. Because now you're not even stressing yourself out about thinking about it.
yeah,
It's one more thing to get you going in the morning. Dress the part. I mean, I
dress
think
the
it's proven
part.
to help a lot of mindsets.
Oh, yeah. I can't
All
tell you how many times
right.
I didn't want to go to the gym and I put my gym clothes on and I'm like, okay, now I have to go to the gym because if not, this would be stupid.
I had a talk with a gal that I used to work out with about this, and she was talking about that, and she goes, I figured it out. I've been sleeping in my gym clothes. I just get up and come to the gym. And I'm like, I
Okay,
wake
I
up
mean, if it
and there's no
works,
excuses. I'm already dressed. We were laughing really hard.
that's
Hey,
funny.
whatever works for you.
Yeah, do whatever
But
works for you, but
maybe
find those ways
mouthwash, though.
and deodorant just a little bit.
Please. If you're a sleep sweater, I don't know. Maybe then you
And
need to change your shirt.
change your underwear. I don't know.
These are
No,
advice people shouldn't need, but boy, they do. These aren't the people probably listening.
no, I do think, I mean, mindset is all about, but finding those things that help you get into your mindset of whatever you're trying to push yourself towards, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And that's how you do hard things. All right. Whoops. We better cut this off for today.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.